Everybody, to the Snapped podcast. My name is Tyler Kluver, and let's consider this a personal audio journal of mine. A lot of rambling, a lot of random stuff, anything relevant in my personal life that has to do with health, fitness, diet, business, being an entrepreneur, and simply trying to unlock the avenues of personal growth that help me find the most happy, fulfilling, and free life that I can live. I hope that you guys can take something away from the show and maybe find some entertainment in it as well. Thank you so much for listening, and let's get to it. All right, let's get to it. Finally going to record this podcast after sitting here at the computer for the last 15 or 20 minutes, and baby girl making an appearance up top. Love that. The first thing we need to go over is welcome to the end of week 1 in the Open for all that are participating. Probably none of you, but hey, we're going to be here talking about it like I talked about last week. Initial thoughts on this week's workout. Let's start by telling you guys what the workout was. Not going to get too far down into CrossFit history here. In the CrossFit Open, oftentimes, I would say probably the majority of years, especially when there was 5 weeks of the Open. There's only 3 now, but when there was 5 weeks of the Open, oftentimes at least once there would be a repeat workout, meaning that, say it's 2023, the first workout for this year's Open was the same workout that they used for the 2014 fourth workout, right? Part of the reason that they do repeat workouts is because one of the large ideas about CrossFit is that it's is that you want to be able to, I forget now what they say, but it's repeatable and measurable, right? Which is really how you should attack all of your working out and such. Repeatable and measurable. So 10 years down the road now from 2014, for anybody who was around then and doing CrossFit, you can repeat the same exact workout, same weights, same reps, all the stuff. And you can measure, hey, have you gotten better in the last 9 years or not? So it's fun. I did not compete in the 2014 CrossFit Open. The first CrossFit Open that I ever did was 2015, and there was hardly a full effort put into that. But I did at some point do this workout, and I believe the score I got was 4 muscle ups. 4 muscle ups. I don't know when the first time I did this workout was. And you guys are sitting there going, 4 muscle ups. What does that even mean? Because I haven't told you the workout yet. 14-minute AMRAP. So it means you have 14 minutes to do as much of this work as possible. And the order of movements starts with a 60-calorie row into 50 toes to bar. Oh, get the yawn out of the way. 60 calories on the rower, 50 toes to bar, 40 wall balls, 30 cleans at 135, and then finish with 20 ring muscle ups. So 60, 50, 40, 30, 20. Beautiful rep scheme, descending, a good mix of movements in there that really focus and work the entire body. And this is in the CrossFit space, for those that are really entrenched into the culture of CrossFit. This is undoubtedly a top 5 open workout of all time as far as programming goes, how well it was programmed, how well-rounded the workout is in general. Just everything about it. There's criteria that are kind of go along with that. You don't really understand that unless you're in the space. It's a top 5 workout of all time. And some say it's up there for the best. So fun workout to do. Unfortunately, if you look at 2 of those movements in the workout, we're looking at toes to bar and ring muscle ups. Nice little yawn there for pause. And this is no excuse, but as we know, I've told you guys 20 times. You guys are sick of hearing it. There was a 2.5 month period where I didn't work out at all. I mean, I was riding the Peloton, so I was doing some slow cardio training. But as far as barbells, muscle ups, and pull ups, and stuff with wall balls, the entirety of this workout, basically, I didn't touch a wall ball. I didn't touch a barbell. I rode a little bit. Didn't touch rings for 3, probably 4 months, and I wasn't able to get out on the bar for a while either to do pull-ups or toes to bar. So to have 50 toes to bar and 20 ring muscle ups in this workout, um, you could say, eh, not exactly what your boy wanted to see come out of the hopper, as they say. That's okay. You got to step up and do what you can. And I knew that when this workout was released, actually, when this workout was released 6 days ago, last Thursday, I thought to myself, I think I can complete that. And it was funny because the programming that I follow, they had just programmed this workout the week before. Just happenstance, total coincidence. I substituted ring muscle ups out of that workout again because it was shitty out that day. Um, and was able to get all the way through the 60, 50, 40, 30, 20, all the way back to the rower for another 35 calories or so. So I thought in my head, right, and it's an AMRAP, right? So if you get all the way through the ring muscle ups, you get back on the rower and start over at 60, 50, and go down again. In my head, I thought, I think I could finish this. I think, last week I hit this workout. I substituted a movement, but I think I can do this. And then as the initial like confidence, um, arrogance to how fit you are wears off, and you start to watch other scores come in. You watch a few people on YouTube do it. I follow everybody in the CrossFit community. I start seeing scores come in. You start to get knocked down a peg, and you're like, okay. And if you're smart, we've talked about athlete IQ on here. You start to realize, my score is going to be a little lower than that. And part of what I mentioned a few minutes ago in why this is one of the best open workouts ever created is because for people who are good, right? For people who are fit and do this for a purpose and um, train competitively to be a CrossFit athlete like I do, um, the time cap of 14 minutes is a very, very well placed time cap relative to finishing through all of the work, right? Um, Getting through all 20 of those muscle ups and then getting a chance to get back on the rower and restart at the top. If you add those up, 60, 50, 40, 30, 20, those numbers will bring you to an exact number of 200. So if you finish through all the reps, 200 would be your score. Now, the elite are back on the rower and finishing the row and more, getting back into the second set of toes to bar. So they are 250 plus in this workout. And to be honest, again, not an excuse, but with 2-3 months of training and a couple more sessions on the damn rings, your boy probably gets back on the rower and grabs 15 or 20 calories, maybe 30 calories on that second row with a score of 220 to 230. I'm pretty confident in that. Not having touched rings since the month of October, I struggled. Not with, I was breathing hard, but my lungs were not the limiting factor. Um, I simply did not have what we would call the skill capacity, meaning what kind of volume can you do in a certain amount of time with a certain skill, right? Um, ring muscle ups being one of the top 2 or 3 skills in all of CrossFit. And the answer for that was 16 out of 20. I finished with a score of 196. And that pisses me off a lot because, again, I think a couple more sessions and a little bit more training during those last 3 months, and I finish those goddamn muscle ups and I get back on the rower. And then once you're back on the rower, you're knocking off calories, which each count as a rep, just quick as hell, right? I mean, at the end of that workout, I could have ripped probably 25 calories in a minute if I just finish at 13 minutes with the muscle ups and then get a minute on the rower. So 196, not an impressive score by any means in the competitive community. Um, for my circumstance and how much I've trained, and we'll call it good. I think there's positives to take away from the workout. The fact that I got to the rings in 9.5 minutes is a positive. Um, that's moving pretty good, I would say. Um, if I even had a decent, if I even just took 3 minutes to get 20 muscle ups done, which should be a 100% doable. That's basically 180 seconds. You hop up every 40 seconds and knock out a set of 5 and do that 4 times. Like that shouldn't be out of the question. And then you've still got that minute to row. Then again, we're having a different discussion. You can hear me literally just being pissed right now in the microphone. It doesn't matter. Didn't train him for whatever reason. Doesn't matter. No one cares. Competitors don't care. 196 is the score, and what that was good for in the world, out of 169,000 men who signed up for the Open, was 7,787th. So basically, right at 7,800th in the world out of 169,000. You listen to that and you say, "Oh, that's pretty good." I mean, if you do the math on that, that's in the 96th percentile of people who did this workout. And yeah, it is pretty good, right? Like I'm happy with that. It's good enough that it will move me on to the next season. However, um, it hurts knowing that I was so close to more, to a lot more. And I'll try to provide some context on how close I was. Um, former teammate and fellow CrossFitter Cole Fisher is who I did this workout next to. He beat me by 1 rep, 1 goddamn rep, um, with a score of 197. And his score, again, I was 7,800th in the world. His placing in the world was 6,900th. A difference of 900 places in the world by just getting 1 more rep. So, and that's sort of how it went. Add another rep to 198, another rep to 199, another rep to 200, and finishing those muscle ups. And each of those individual scores will drop you another 7 to 800 spots on the leaderboard, to the point where if you finish this rep or the 200 reps, again, I got 196. If you finish the 200 reps, you're inside the top 5,000. You're somewhere around 4,500th. But by just missing 4 reps on the end of that workout, it drops me down to 8,000th. So the margins are small, right? By inches. Again, Cole 197 for just inside the top 7,000. And shout out to Nick DeMarco, who I also kind of keep up with, former strength coach of mine, while at Iowa, now into CrossFit as well. Very, very fit. Has clearly put in a shitload of work this offseason. He's been in the top 300 in the quarterfinals the last 2 years. And Nick came out and got back to the rower, finished the second row, and got off and got one toes to bar for a score of 261, which put him 287th in the world. 287th in the fucking world. That is a score. I mean, that's a score right there. That's extremely impressive. Good workout for him, but uh, unbelievable outing by Nick there, and made me and Cole look bad. Made us look real bad. So there's a couple fun things to track. Again, finishing that 200 one time through would have gotten you inside the top 5,000 in the world for men. Back in 2014, right? This is the fun part. Now we can go back and look at the 2014 leaderboard and see what scores would have done back then. And there was a little bit less people total signed up. But if you would have finished the 200 reps back in 2014, it would have been good for 1100th. You would have almost been inside the top 1,000 in the world. Whereas now, with how people have evolved and gotten better at, more people have found CrossFit, more people have gotten serious about CrossFit. Now that same score barely gets you inside the top 5,000, where it would have almost got you in the top 1,000 9 years ago. 196 reps, my score would have put me at 2,350th in the world back in 2014. Again, that was good for 7,800th this year. So 3x the amount of people on the leaderboard are putting up the same types of scores and bumping me down, which is good. So fun stuff. How does this relate to my goals for this year? And then we'll finish with some final thoughts about the workout. Well, in the United States, and these are just like fun little things that I look at because how I place in the US and how I place in Iowa specifically, those don't matter. What does matter moving to the next round is where I place in the region, which there's a new region this year that they've reclassified. So we'll go through those three. One thing before we move on to that. Last year, my individual placings for each workout were 7,700th, 5,000th, and 8,500th. There was a little bit of change on each of those, but those were the general 100 markers of where I placed last year. 7,700th, 5,000th, and then 8,500th. So I basically matched my score from last year. There is a few more people, slightly significant amount of more people signed up this year. So technically, we're kind of right on pace for where I finished last year, maybe even a little bit ahead, especially because of that not being a great workout for me. So something to consider. We certainly aren't ahead of the game, and we've got some ground to make up. Anyway, back to where that score was good enough to be in the United States. That score ended up 2,558th in the US. Last year, my combined three scores gave me a placing of 2,412th in the United States. So we are right on there, just behind. And usually my combined scores bump me up significantly compared to where those sit as an average. That's sort of how the ranking system works. So I'm happy with where I sit in the United States. In the region that I'm in, which is the North American West region, I was 1,267th place. 1,267th place. And again, for numbers' sake, Quarterfinals will probably take, uh, they'll probably take around 2,000 or 2,500 people from the North American West, and the top 120, or no, the top 60 out of that region will move forward. So, not great, but almost top 1,000 in the region. And then in Iowa, which is a fun thing to um, kind of follow along with, it gave me 46th. It was 46th best score in Iowa, which, again, if I just get back to the rower, I cut that in half and I'm somewhere down in the 20s. Um, Last year, my individual placings in the 3 workouts in Iowa were 30th, 31st, and 41st. So I've already chalked one up at 46th, which is a worse placing than I had on any of the 3 workouts last year. And, well, we've got some work to do. Um, Again, these podcasts aren't going to be super fruitful for any of you, especially you, Cade, listening, who want to gain some inspiration or knowledge or fun facts um, for your personal fitness. This is purely audio journaling over the next 4 months or 4 weeks. The workout in general, it was a fun workout. I was actually excited to see it when it came out. Um, I like rowing. I like wall balls. I like cleans. I liked 3 out of the 5 movements. I generally like toes to bar, and those actually didn't slow me down too much. So it was really 4 out of the 5 movements that were, I was cool with. Um, it just really sucks to get to those last 20 reps of ring muscle ups and just have to take them 2 at a time and take tons of rest. And we did what we could. We did what we could. Um, I am I am optimistic. I just shouted out about 400 different placing numbers depending on what the classification was and what year it was and all this stuff. None of you remember any of those numbers other than maybe a couple, but they're important to me, and I know where um, where I kind of sit relative to my competition and relative to where I'd like to place in the state, in the U.S., in North America, and in the world. And you could argue that this may be my worst placing. And I'm almost confident in saying that this will be my worst placing in the Open this year. And if that is the case, it is looking good for me to hit my goals for this Open as far as where I place in all those specific classifications. So we're happy with it. It's good to get humbled by a movement that you're not great at, you're not super trained at. Um, I know for a fact that already after quarterfinals is over and we're done, I'm going to be adding ring muscle ups and a couple other movements that I know I need to work on, but ring muscle ups specifically heavy into my training, and I already know exactly how it's going to fit and where I'm going to put them. And the idea would be that next year we come back and I'm a machine, right? Like muscle ups show up and I can just crank them out. Um, those little things provide motivation, and and it's a good reminder that you always have something to work on, especially in CrossFit, but really everything, right? You always have something to work on. Some of these numbers make it very blatantly obvious that there's not just some people out there that are better than you. There's a lot of people out there that are better than you. And for some, that's discouraging. For me, that's super motivating because I truly believe that if I wanted, I can compete with anybody. And so that's it. That's the first Open. What's interesting moving forward here in the next 2 weeks is usually open workouts. Um, there's really 10 to 15 movements that come out in open workouts, and that's all time, right? All time movements that they've ever used. And with a workout like this first one that uses 5 different movements, they usually will not repeat movements. So we've just knocked off 5 out of the list, which means that coming up in the next couple weeks, um, if we were going to try and predict the next couple weeks workouts, it's down to really a couple things, right? We're looking at the jump rope, double unders. We're looking at pull ups, thrusters, deadlifts, snatches, um, some kind of dumbbell movement, probably. A lunge or a um, maybe box step ups with a dumbbell. Um, those are a burpee. Burpee will be in there somewhere. That's really about it. Like there's we're down to like 7, 8 movements that are probably going to show up in some form or another. So, and I feel decent about what's left. If you were to ask me which 2 movements are you most not excited about, or which 3, the muscle ups and the toes to bar would have been 2 of the top 3, and then chest to bar pull ups would be the other one. Um, so, again, excited for these next 2 weeks. Think that will be my worst placement as far as the open goes this year, which means we're only going up from here. And the next open workout gets announced tomorrow. So another week, another 7 days to get better. We'll talk to you next week. Peace.